There comes a time when a person feels a quiet shift inside, as if something hidden is waiting to be revealed. The heart beats with one rhythm, the mind sharpens like a blade, and the body finally moves with clarity. This is the moment when heaven itself leans closer, and joy rises not from the world outside, but from the truth you embody within. In this teaching, you will discover why this inner alignment is not just a concept, but a path that transforms everything you touch. Many believe mastery comes from endless struggle or the pursuit of perfection. Yet the Shaolin way shows us something different. Mastery is born when thought, intention, and movement become one. This is a truth so simple that it is often overlooked, but so powerful that it shapes destiny. In this journey, we will step into lessons that are rarely spoken about outside temple walls. You will learn why silence is more than the absence of sound, why stillness before action can change the outcome of your life, and why even the smallest daily ritual holds the power to unlock clarity. These teachings are not bound to history, they breeze through you here and now. Stay with me until the end of this video, because only then will the pieces come together. The alignment of heart, mind, and body is not just knowledge, it is practice, discipline, and awakening. And when this harmony is reached, it is said that even the divine smiles in recognition. Welcome to Shaolin Soulfire. If these teachings speak to you, I invite you to subscribe, so that each step forward becomes part of a shared path toward wisdom and inner fire. There is a silence that does not feel empty. It rests in the air, like the pause between heartbeats, holding more presence than sound ever could. In this kind of silence, the world does not disappear, it sharpens. Every breath feels deliberate, every small sound becomes alive, and every thought rises into view with striking clarity. Silence is not absence, it is fullness. When you step into it, the first thing you notice is how loud the mind really is. Restless thoughts, unfinished stories, and hidden fears all rush forward, demanding attention. Most people run from this, filling the space with noise or distraction. But if you stay long enough, if you endure the turbulence, the storm begins to quiet, and in that quiet, something remarkable is revealed. Silence becomes a teacher. It strips away illusions, one by one. The false masks you wear to please others, the stories you repeat to defend yourself, even the images you hold of who you think you are, they fall away like old leaves. What remains is simple, clear, undeniable. The real self stands without disguise. Shaolin practice uses silence as both discipline and mirror. Hours of training without words are not meant to escape the world, but to face it more deeply. In silence, strength and weakness are exposed with equal honesty. No excuse can survive there. No self-deception can hide. Like a still pond reflecting the sky, silence shows life as it is. It reveals the space between reaction and choice, the truth beneath confusion, the strength that grows when nothing is left to defend. Silence is not emptiness. It is the fullness of awareness itself. There is a rare strength in the moment of pause. Most people rush forward, pushed by anger, fear, or impulse. Their words spill without thought. Their actions scatter without aim. But the chosen ones move differently. They know that mastery begins not with reaction, but with restraint. The pause is not weakness. It is the gathering of power. In that quiet space, energy that would have exploded outward is turned inward, refined, and directed with purpose. This is mindfulness, not drifting in thought, but choosing to see clearly before moving. It is the discipline of holding back the arrow until the aim is true. Ancient teachings remind us that the one who can command their breath can command their fate. Anger may rise, but the pause allows it to dissolve. Fear may whisper, but the pause gives space to choose courage instead. Impulse may push, but the pause steadies the hand. This is not about suppression. It is transformation. Energy that once controlled you becomes energy you now command. Consider a flame. Left wild, it burns without order, consuming everything around it. But placed within a lantern, it gives light that guides the night. The chosen ones treat their emotions the same way. They do not let anger burn the house, nor fear darken the path. Through pause and awareness, they place their fire where it can illuminate, not destroy. This discipline is not won in a single day. It is shaped in countless small choices. The held breath, the measured word, the steady step. Over time, these pauses weave a different life. One no longer ruled by reaction, but guided by mastery. And it is here, in this unseen strength, that their true path begins to shine. The hardest battles are rarely fought outside. They rise inside the mind, where thoughts twist and scatter like restless birds. Many blame the world for their struggles, yet the deepest conflict often comes from within. The mind resists stillness. It pulls you toward old memories, unfinished fears, and endless questions. It whispers that you must move, speak, or escape. This is why the restless mind is the greatest enemy. Shaolin discipline does not begin with the fist or the sword. It begins with the stillness of sitting. To remain unmoving, even for a short while, is to face the shadows that hide beneath constant activity. At first, silence feels unbearable. The shadows grow louder when you try to meet them. But discipline means not running, not distracting yourself, not filling the space with noise. Discipline means looking directly at what you have avoided. The shadows are not punishments. They are teachers. Each fear points to a place that longs for strength. Each regret marks a lesson still waiting to be learned. Each restless thought reveals how much energy is wasted in wandering. Sitting still allows these truths to surface, and with them, the chance to finally understand yourself. Think of water in a shaken jar, muddy, unclear. If left untouched, the particles sink, and the water clears on its own. The mind is no different. Stillness lets the turbulence settle. Clarity comes not from chasing thoughts, but from letting them rest until the truth beneath can be seen. This is the heart of inner mastery. The courage to sit in silence with your own shadows, and the discipline to stay until what once frightened you becomes the ground of your strength. There is a fire hidden inside every trial. At first it feels only like pain, sharp, heavy, sometimes unbearable. Most try to escape it, to numb or avoid it. But those who walk the path of discipline know a different truth. Suffering is not the end. When met with awareness, it becomes fuel for transformation. Hardship is the forge, where both body and spirit are refined. A sword is not made sharp in comfort. It is hammered, folded, and tempered in fire. In the same way, the spirit grows strong, not by avoiding difficulty, but by passing through it with open eyes. Pain without awareness only scars. Pain with awareness awakens. Shaolin philosophy teaches that the body learns resilience through strain. Muscles tear and rebuild. Breath struggles and deepens. Endurance grows each time the body refuses to give in. Yet beyond the body, the spirit is trained too. Hardship strips away arrogance, softens pride, and teaches patience. It reminds you that strength is not only in force, but in the quiet decision to continue when all of you wants to stop. There is no shame in suffering. It is not a sign of weakness, but of being alive in the human path. The question is not whether you will meet hardship, but how you will meet it. To resist blindly is to be broken by it. To welcome it with awareness is to be shaped into something unshakable. Like a stone polished smooth by water, or a tree strengthened by harsh winds, the chosen ones are refined through trial. The fire that once burned them becomes the very flame that lights their way forward. In this alchemy of discipline, suffering is never wasted. It becomes the mark of mastery. Before every strike, there is a pause. The Shaolin monk does not rush into movement. No matter how urgent the fight may seem, he stands first in balance, grounding his body, steadying his breath, and letting the mind settle. Only when stillness is found does the strike emerge. This is not habit, it is discipline. The monk knows that action without balance is wasted, but action born from stillness is precise, powerful, and true. For the chosen ones, life demands the same practice. Every decision is a kind of strike, shaping not only the present moment, but the path ahead. Yet most people act too quickly, carried away by impulse, emotion, or fear. They move before they are ready, and so their choices scatter, leaving confusion in their wake. But those who learn to cultivate inner stillness first bring a different weight to their actions. Stillness before action is not delay, it is alignment. It is the gathering of mind, heart, and body into one direction, so that when the step is taken, it carries no hesitation. Even in the chaos of life, balance can be found. It is a breath before the word, a pause before the choice, a moment of grounding before the leap. Ancient wisdom reminds us that the tree that bends in the wind does not break. Its strength comes from its roots, its stillness within movement. In the same way, chosen ones carry their stillness into the storm. They move when it is time, but never out of panic. Their decisions cut cleanly because they rise from clarity, not confusion. This discipline is not about slowing life, but about deepening it. The strike of action becomes meaningful only when it emerges from the silence of balance. The world often speaks of transformation as if it arrives in a single moment, sudden, dramatic, undeniable. But real change does not strike like lightning. It unfolds slowly, shaped by small and consistent acts repeated each day. A seed does not become a tree overnight. It grows by steady rhythm, root by root, season by season, until strength is quietly built. For the chosen ones, this rhythm is found in the simplest of rituals. Breathing with awareness each morning is more than filling the lungs. It is a reminder that life itself is a gift renewed with every inhale. Moving the body through disciplined practice is more than exercise. It is a dialogue with the vessel that carries spirit through the world. Sitting in meditation is more than stillness. It is the sharpening of presence, the training of attention, the act of returning again and again to what is real. These acts may seem small, even ordinary, yet within their repetition lies their power. One breath brings calm. 10,000 breaths cultivate a mind that does not waver in the face of storms. One moment of meditation clears the fog. Years of meditation transform the way you see life itself. The chosen ones understand this truth. Consistency shapes destiny. Ancient traditions teach that alignment with divine rhythm is not forced. It is remembered, practiced, and lived daily. The sun rises not by effort but by rhythm. Rivers carve valleys not through sudden force but through patient persistence. In the same way, the chosen find strength not by waiting for dramatic signs but by honoring the quiet rituals that align them with something greater. Great change is not hidden in the extraordinary. It is born in the ordinary, repeated with devotion until it becomes the path itself. True mastery does not make noise. It does not announce itself or wait for recognition. Like a mountain standing tall, it simply is, steady, unmoved, and complete in its presence. The world often confuses mastery with display, as if the loudest voice or the grandest performance proves strength. But real strength needs no stage. It grows in silence, nourished by discipline, and seen only by those with eyes to notice. The chosen ones understand this. They act not to be admired, but because the action itself is right. Their joy is not in applause, but in alignment. A kind word spoken with sincerity carries more power than 1,000 shouted in pride. A single disciplined choice made in private shapes destiny more deeply than public victories. This is why it is said that heaven smiles not at the praise of men, but at the purity of deeds. In ancient practice, monks were taught to sweep temple floors with the same devotion as they would recite sacred texts. No task was too small, no act unworthy of attention. What mattered was not recognition, but presence. To live this way is to be free from the craving for approval, from the fear of being unseen, from the endless chase for validation. Purity of action is a quiet offering. It is the prayer hidden inside daily life. When you choose discipline over indulgence, patience over anger, compassion over pride, you create harmony that needs no witness. The divine recognizes it, even if no one else does. True mastery is not celebrated by crowds. It is reflected in the still heart, the steady hand, the path walked with integrity. And in that silence, unseen by many, joy rises like a blessing. There is a wisdom in watching the river. It does not struggle against the rocks, nor force its way through the earth. It moves with patience, bending, curving, flowing. And yet in time it shapes valleys, smooths stones, and carves deep paths through mountains. This is the way of nature, soft yet unstoppable, patient yet powerful. Shaolin teaching reminds us that mastery is not found in resisting the natural order, but in aligning with it. When you push against the rhythm of life, frustration grows. You burn energy fighting what was never yours to control. But when you begin to move with the seasons, to rise and rest with their flow, something shifts, struggle fades, clarity enters, strength becomes effortless. The chosen ones often learn this after years of forcing their way forward, chasing outcomes, wrestling with obstacles, exhausting themselves in resistance. Yet the turning point comes when they surrender force and embrace rhythm. It is not surrender in weakness, but surrender into harmony. Just as trees do not resist winter, nor flowers rush spring, the chosen begin to trust the timing of their own path. Living by rhythm means listening to the breath, to the body, to the subtle signs the world offers. It means understanding when to move and when to wait, when to speak and when to remain silent, when to act with force and when to let things unfold. This balance creates a life that no longer fights itself. It is said that when a person finally lives by rhythm instead of force, the divine smiles upon them. For in that harmony, they have become part of something greater, flowing with the current of life itself, instead of standing in its way. The mind loves control. It clings to plans, to outcomes, to the idea that every step can be shaped by sheer will. Yet the more tightly it grasps, the more restless it becomes. Fear grows when the future refuses to obey. Anger rises when life moves in its own direction. This craving for control becomes the final barrier to mastery because it blinds a person to the truth. Nothing outside can ever be fully controlled. Ancient wisdom teaches that the attempt to hold the river only leaves you with empty hands. The water was never yours to command. Mastery then is not about bending life to your desire. It is about releasing the illusion of control and returning to presence. Mindfulness is the key to this release. When the breath is followed with attention, when the body is felt in stillness, the need to dominate begins to fade. You realize that this moment, just as it is, already holds enough. In this presence, joy does not need to be chased. It arises naturally, like sunlight appearing when the clouds finally part. The chosen ones discover that the weight of control was never strength but burden. By letting it go, they find clarity that no strategy could provide, peace that no possession could secure. This does not mean abandoning discipline. Discipline remains, but it serves awareness instead of ego. Action flows from alignment, not desperation. Choices are made from clarity, not fear. In this way, life becomes lighter, yet more powerful. To step beyond the craving for control is to step into freedom. Here, the self no longer fights against reality, but walks with it. And in that simple presence, mastery is complete. Fire has always carried two faces. To some it is feared, for it burns, consumes, and destroys. Yet to those who understand, fire is not only destruction, it is illumination. It is the flame that clears darkness, the warmth that protects against the cold, the spark that awakens life itself. In Shaolin teaching, fire is seen as an inner force that, when disciplined, becomes a light rather than a weapon. The chosen ones carry this fire within. Their strength is not measured by how much they can dominate others, but by the clarity they radiate. Their presence itself becomes a kind of light, steady and calm, guiding those around them without force. This is the difference between raw power and true mastery. Power seeks control. Mastery seeks balance. When fire is uncontrolled, it rages and destroys. This is what happens when anger or ego takes the lead. But when fire is tended with discipline, it becomes a lantern in the night. It does not consume everything around it. It simply shines. The chosen ones embody this light. They do not need to shout their strength. They do not need to prove their worth. Their calmness in the storm speaks louder than words. Their clarity in confusion draws others without demand. Ancient wisdom teaches that a single candle can light 1,000 more without losing its flame. This is the essence of the chosen. Their fire does not drain them, it expands through giving. They carry a strength that uplifts rather than oppresses, a presence that warms rather than scorches. To live this way is to honor fire as illumination. It is to walk as a quiet beacon, burning not to destroy, but to remind others of the light they too carry within. In the end, the path of the chosen one is not about chasing greatness in the eyes of the world. It is about quiet alignment, heart, mind, and body moving as one. It is about learning from silence, meeting hardship with awareness, and living by rhythm instead of force. When you walk this way, even the smallest act carries the weight of truth, and joy rises naturally untouched by circumstance. Take these lessons with you into your daily life. Let each breath remind you of presence. Let each pause remind you of discipline. Let each step remind you that mastery is not in display, but in the calm strength you embody. May you walk gently yet firmly, balanced between heaven and earth. If this teaching has spoken to you, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel Shaolin Soulfire, where the journey of inner fire continues.